are looking at your Shopify Analytics and thinking, what I'm going to do with all of these numbers, this video is for you. I will break down the most important metrics every store owner should know about. And not only that, I will show you how each one of them fit in your customer's journey and how you can improve these numbers to increase your sales and grow your business. So when you go next time to your Shopify Analytics, you know what to look at, what it means, and what to fix. And for sure, I will show you how to find all of these numbers within Shopify so you don't lose a lot of time clicking around. And believe me, when you start looking at your analytics this way, you will feel much more in control and you won't feel like guessing anymore. This is the analytics dashboard. And the first thing you are seeing in here is the time window. So when we are checking the analytics, you can choose to check the analytics in the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. It's really up to you. You can go for a year. You can even change the time period in here. So if you want to check your analytics in the last 3 years, for example, you can do this manually in here. The second thing you are seeing in here is the comparison window. So you can decide, for example, to compare this month with the previous month, or maybe this month with the same period last year. And you can do this from here by choosing your comparison window. You can even choose manually your comparison window from here. It's very important to use the comparison feature, especially if you are changing stuff in your marketing or in your store and you want to see how these changes are affecting your results. When you set up a comparison window, Shopify will be adding next to your numbers this small increase or decrease depending on the changes that happened on your store. So for example, in here, we have a 15% increase. This tells us that sales have increased by 15% this month compared to the last month or to the last period. When you scroll down, you will see the default setup provided by Shopify for your analytics dashboard. And you can change this setup, move things around, and I'm going to show you how to do this in seconds. All of these metrics provided in here are important. But my job in this video is to tell you about the most important ones so you don't get lost. To customize the view of this layout, all you need to do is to click here on Customize, and you will be moved to this screen where you can basically move things around. So you can choose, for example, to move your average order value chart in here, make it bigger if you wish. It depends really on you and on your preferences. I recommend you to do this exercise once you finish watching this video, because after watching this video, you will know what metrics you should be looking at so you can organize your dashboard based on this. You can even decide to add some more graphs or some more numbers to this report, and you can do this by simply choosing from the list in here. So let's say I want to see customers by location. I can simply drag it and drop it in here. After doing that, I can change it like this, make it smaller, bigger, it depends on you. Let's start with the first thing you should be looking at, and it is your sessions. And this comes within your top of funnel metrics. And sessions just means how many visits your store is receiving. And this number reflects everything that you are doing outside of Shopify to drive traffic to your store. I'm talking about everything marketing, so Facebook, Google Ads, TikTok ads, social media content, email marketing, SEO, everything. So if your sessions are low, this is not a store problem. This is not a Shopify problem. You have a marketing problem. You can have the most amazing store in the entire world, but if no one is visiting it, you can't make sales and you can't grow your business. And you would be surprised how many store owners spend months improving their stores and they forgot totally about marketing and about driving traffic. If your sessions are going down, your sales are going to follow directly. When it comes to sessions, there are so many things that you need to look at. First, you need to look at the trends. Are your sessions changing from one season to another, or maybe from 1 month to another? Also, you need to look at any sudden changes that happen to your sessions. So if, for example, suddenly your sessions are going down, maybe there is a problem in your ads or in your ad account. The third thing that you should be looking at is from where you are receiving your sessions and what platforms are working best for you. All of this info is available within your Shopify dashboard, and I'm going to show you how to explore them now. Within the default setup of your Shopify Analytics, and if you scroll down a little bit down, you will see a lot of sections dedicated for sessions. So for example, you have sessions over time, sessions by device type, sessions by location, sessions by social refer, by landing page, and also you have sessions by refer in here. All of these reports are important and you should be looking at all of them because they will help you to understand more how your marketing efforts are performing and if they are performing well or not. You can also, from your analytics dashboard, go to reports and choose in here under category acquisition, and you will see all of these reports and you can access each one of them separately. Let's start with the sessions over time report. If you click in here, Shopify is going to take you to a full dashboard where it shows you this report. You can customize this view as well. You can add metrics in here, you can change the window, you can change the comparison period, and so on. Let's go and check the results for the last 365 days. Looking now at this graph and comparing my sessions this year to the previous year, I can see a huge drop in the sessions number. And I know why this happened, because I stopped advertising for this store and I'm moving more toward the organic content. In this case, for example, I'm very well aware of why my sessions dropped from a year to another. But if you are seeing something similar to this in your dashboard and you are still advertising in the same way like last year, this is going to tell you that your ads are not performing as well as they used to perform. Or maybe your marketing efforts on social media or maybe on email marketing or whatever are not performing as they used to perform. Next, you should be looking at the sources of your sessions and which devices your customers are using to access your store. So first you have the sessions by device type, and this report is going to tell you what devices your customers are using the most. And as you can see, we have mobile, desktop, tablet, and others. And if you scroll down in here, you have the sessions by refer. If you click on it, you will see the sessions sources. So you will know from where you are getting your sessions. You can customize this view in here. So instead, for example, of seeing a simple horizontal graph, you can decide to see a donut, for example. You can even change the dimensions you are seeing in here. And if you scroll down, you will see a table with all the information. And you can choose to filter this table. So let's say, for example, you want to know more about the customers who are accessing your store from Facebook or Instagram or email. You can simply in here choose under filter to use the refer name as a filter. So let's select value to be, for example, ChatGPT and click on apply. So we can know, for example, in here that we have received 2 sessions last month from ChatGPT. And you can know more about these sessions by adding more columns to this table. So let's say, for example, I want to know the landing pages of these sessions. What I need to do is to click here on dimensions and add landing pages. So I'm gonna put landing page path and click on apply. And as you can see in here, I have a new column with a landing page path. This is going to tell me which products or pages on my store ChatGPT is recommending to people. And this is super important. You can do it to all of your sources and it will help you to know more about your sessions and about your potential customers. You can know which products they prefer, how they are finding your store, and so on. So now that you know everything you need about sessions and why it is super important to always make sure that you are receiving enough traffic, we move to the next most important metric, and it is your store conversion rate. Your potential customers have landed on your store. Now your job is to convert them and convince them to buy your products. And for this, we have so many amazing reports within Shopify that we can explore. So our next metric is your store conversion rate, and it is a middle of funnel metric, and it represents the percentage of visitors who actually place an order. But here is the thing. Your store conversion rate is not one metric. Shopify breaks down into 3 different metrics, and all of them are super important, and they represent the different steps your customers will take until placing an order. So we have added to cart, reached checkout, and completed purchase. And each of these metrics will give you clues about where your customers are dropping off so you can fix it. So if you notice, for example, that a lot of your customers are adding to cart, but few of them are actually going to the checkout, maybe there is something broken in the process. Maybe there is a button that's not working. Or if you notice, for example, that a lot of people are going to the checkout page, but they are not purchasing, maybe there is a problem with your shipping rates. Maybe they are very expensive. Maybe your customers didn't expect to pay that much. And these are the things that you should be looking at. Analyze these numbers and make sure that your customers are moving in a healthy percentage from one step to another. Usually a healthy add to cart rate should be around 10%, and the healthy store conversion rate should be around 3%. So if your sessions are okay, you are receiving the traffic, but you are not converting enough of this traffic into customers, this is where you should be working on your store. This is something that you can control. You drove traffic to your store, you've convinced people people to visit your store, now your job is to convince them to buy from you. Improving your store conversion rate will directly improve your sales. And it's very important to keep an eye on this metric to make sure that it's not the reason behind your low sales. So if your sales are going down, but you are still receiving the same amount of sessions, there is a problem then with the store or with the type of traffic that you are driving. Either you are driving irrelevant traffic, people who are not interested about your product, and this is not usually the case, or there is a problem with your store and it's not being able to convince enough people to buy from you. It's easy to get the algorithms of Facebook, Instagram, Google to give you the right traffic. Usually when you have a low conversion rate, the problem is going to be a trust issue and you need to fix this. And there is a lot of videos on this YouTube channel where I show you how you can fix and improve your store conversion rate, so don't forget to check them out. I will be linking to all of them in the description below. In your Shopify Analytics, there are two types of graphs that you need to keep an eye on when it comes to conversion rate. The first one is the conversion rate over time, because it's going to tell you how your conversion rate is changing from a month to another and so on. And there is the second one, which is conversion rate breakdown, which is the one we talked about previously. In this one in here, we see the breakdown of the sessions. So for example, for this store this month, we had 22% add to cart percentage. And this is a huge number. I know most businesses will see something around 10% in here. If you are not seeing 10%, there is a problem that you need to fix. So as you can see in here, my conversion rate is 10.43%. And my add to cart rate is 22.41%, which is a huge number. And I know most of you would be seeing something around 10% in here. If you are not seeing 10%, it means there is something wrong that you need to fix. Then we have my reach checkout percentage, and it's 20% in here. And as you can see, the drop in here is very small, and this is super healthy. And finally, I have the complete purchase, which is the 10%. And this is also a healthy drop. It's totally normal to see a 50% drop between the add to cart and the purchase. If you are struggling with your store conversion rate and you are not being able to figure out how to improve it, and you are looking at achieving results and numbers like these, you can apply to work with me using the link you will find in the description. I have helped this business improving their store conversion rate from 5% to 10% in months, and I'm sure I can help you to do the same. So if you are interested and you want to grow your business, click below and apply to work with me, and I would be more than happy to help you out. Also, with your store conversion rate, it's very important to keep an eye for any changes or any sudden behavior. If you are changing something on your store, if you are changing your landing pages, your product pages, keep an eye on your conversion rate, because it's going to tell you if the changes you are doing are actually improving your store and taking your business in the right direction or not. So now that you know how to keep an eye on your sessions and on your store conversion rate, your next most important metric is your store average order value. And it's a kind of a deeper funnel metric. This metric is super important because it's going to tell you how much a customer is spending during one visit, one purchase on your store. So obviously, the higher your average order value is, the better it is. Improving your average order value is not something easy, but it's one of the most valuable wins you can ever do on your store. In order to improve your store average order value, you can do a lot, like offering bundles, cross-sell, upsell, and much more. Again, in this YouTube channel, you can find a lot of videos that will teach you how to improve your store average order value, and I'm going to link to all of them below in the description. When it comes to this metric, what I recommend you to do is to always test one thing at a time. So let's say, for example, you decided to create bundles in order to invite customers to buy more, and see how your average order value is improving over time. If you are not seeing any improvement, maybe the offer that you have created is not good enough. Maybe you want to discount the bundle price, offer them something for free, give them more incentives to spend more. Shopify gives you a very detailed breakdown of your average order value. From your Shopify Analytics, go to the average order value in here, and you can directly access the full report. And again, we can see the improvement or the changes that's happening to the average order value over time. Let's make the window a little bit bigger. So in here, for example, you can notice that we have almost the same average order value all the time. We had a slight bump in here. We need to investigate this period and see why we were able to increase the average order value a little bit more in here, and maybe apply the same strategies again on our store, because Obviously, they worked in here. This is a different graph from a different business. And as you can see, if we look at the full year, we can notice that we had a drop in our average order value in the period between December and April. This drop might seem like a scary drop to many businesses, but not for us because we have a strategy. Actually, what happened on December is that we have introduced a new product that's less expensive than our usual products. And we were using this product as our introduction product or as our point of contact with the customers. We were aggressively advertising for this product on social media. That's why our average order value dropped, because we simply sold a lot of cheap products in order to get and acquire new customers. This business was at a stage where we were looking for growth. We wanted to acquire more and more customers, so that strategy is reflected in here. And as you can see, once this period ended, we went back into improving our average order value. For the store in here, we wanted to improve our average order value. So what we did was simply increase our free shipping threshold from $50 to $75. And as you can see, our average order value went from $53 to $76 in a few months. No matter what strategy you want to go with in order to improve your average order value, keep an eye and make sure it's performing well and it's actually giving you the results that you are looking to achieve. But do you know what's even better than a big first order? A customer who keeps coming back again and again to your store to purchase your product. So our next metric is the retention rate, and it comes in the post-purchase phase. The retention rate will tell you how much of your customers are coming back to your store and buying again from you. And this is a part that so many store owners miss. You need to know that it's way cheaper. It's actually 5 times cheaper to get an old customer to buy again from you compared to acquiring a new one. So in order to improve this metric, what you need to focus on are your post-purchase strategies. And in here, I'm talking about following up via emails, SMSs, your customer service, and much more. And on Shopify, there are 2 reports that can tell you a lot about retention rate. And most people don't look at the second report because it's new and because somehow it seems complicated to them. But it's not. Let me move to my dashboard to show you these reports. The first thing that you should be looking at is your returning customer rate, and it's available within your Shopify Analytics, the default setup. You click in here and you will see your returning rate over time. For this store, for example, I have a returning rate of 71%, which is a very high returning rate. Usually businesses aim for something between 40 to 50%. This is a healthy balance because it means you are retaining your customers, but you are still acquiring new customers every single month. For this business, we are at a stage where we are focusing on the retention. That's why we are seeing this number very high now. But on later stages, we will be focusing on acquiring new customers again and again. But for sure, in the near future, we will be focusing more again on acquiring new customers. So your returning rate in here will reflect directly how satisfied your customers are with your products, with your services, and so on. But this is not the only place where you should be checking. There is another report on Shopify that tells you a lot about your retention rates. If you go in here to reports and you search for Cohort, you will find this report. It's called Customer Cohort Analysis. Also, you can find it in here under your Analytics dashboard by scrolling down. You will find it in here. So you click on it, and as you can see, it's breaking down your customers' behaviors month by month. Let me explain this graph to you because I know to many people this is a challenging graph. So in here on the left, we see the period. So we have the months. Then we have in here first order, month 0, month 1, and so on. In here in the first month, obviously all of these customers are making their first order. Then on month 0, we see that, for example, for May, 11% of these 220 customers actually made a second purchase within the same month. And in here we see that 1 month after that, 23% of them made a second purchase. So you are basically seeing your retention rate month by month. And this is super important because it's going to tell you 2 things. First, how good you are at retaining your customers, and second, how frequent your customers might come back and buy from you. And frequency is super important to calculate the long-term value of a customer, which is the next metric we are going to talk about. What you need to do with this graph is to analyze it and to follow your customer's journey month by month. One smart thing that you can do about this report, because it is complicated to many people, is to take a screenshot and give it to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you results, to analyze the graph and give you information about your customers' behaviors. I found that this is one of the easiest way to understand this graph. For sure, don't count 100% on everything ChatGPT is telling you, but it's going to be a good start for someone who has no idea about analytics and is not a big fan of numbers in general. Final metric is LTV, or the long-term value of your customers. LTV is simply how much you estimate a customer is going to spend with your business over all time. And the easiest way to calculate this metric is to multiply the average order value by the frequency of purchase by the customer lifespan. I know this seems a little bit complicated, especially that on Shopify there is no specific graph or specific section for the LTV. You need to do this calculation by yourself. If you want to know how to calculate the lifetime value of your customers, I highly recommend you to check this video on my YouTube channel. In this video, I give you a detailed breakdown of how to calculate LTV for your business. So now you know the most important metrics of your business, and you know how to check them within your Shopify Analytics dashboard. You don't need to guess anymore. All of your next decisions, your next business decisions should be based on data, the data you collect through Shopify dashboard. And if you want me to help you to understand your analytics and figure out how to make informative decisions that will help you to grow your business, don't forget to apply to work with me using the link you will find below. Thank you so much for watching this video and for staying up until the end. If you liked it, don't forget to smash the like button, to subscribe to my channel, and to hit the notification bell, because in this way you will get notified each time I publish a new video. And don't forget, if you want to know how to calculate the long-term value of your customers, check this video next on my YouTube channel.